This is a video by the internet switchstore.co.uk. Today we're going to talk about the Varilight Master remote touch dimmer switches and the Varilight Slave dimmer switches. This is the most common error when purchasing the remote touch dimmer switches we find online, with people not really understanding the principle between the master and the slave issue. Okay, here we have a master which is designed for a one-way circuit. Okay, so this will be happily operating fine on its own, say a ceiling light and a wall light. If you try and install this switch on its own, it just won't work. The idea behind the slave switch is it's to be used in conjunction with a master switch. For example, what you'd have here is a two-gang at the entrance point into a lounge, one with the ceiling light and one with the wall light. At the other side of the room, perhaps by the patio doors on exit into the garden, you'd have mounted the two-gang slave switch. This would replicate the ceiling light and the wall light. The remote control function is operated by the master, but the switch option can be operated by both. So for example, you could walk into the room, turn on the ceiling lights and walk out of the room towards the patio door and turn off the ceiling lights. You could also dim both lights by holding down the switch plate at either location and create a dimming function between 100% and 2%. What you can't do, however, is use two of the slave switches together in that room. You'd get no use from the switches at all and the circuit wouldn't operate. Likewise, you can't use two of the master switches. That would conflict both sides of the room and the circuit wouldn't operate. So you must use the master and the slave in conjunction to create your two-way circuit. If you need to add any more extra circuits, you can obviously use these again to replicate a two-way circuit, but if you need to add any more slave switches, you can create a 3, 4, 5 or even 6-way circuit by adding extra number of slave switches. So for example, at another entry point or exit point into the room. If you have any other questions at all, please feel free to email us or call 0800 043 5532.